We're here with another Nyahbinghi Fiyah reasoning with Elder Congo Isef of the Atlanta Nyahbinghi House. Haile Sellassie. Elder, what is God?
God, to the idea, I speak personally, God to the idea is the source of life, as we know as the creator of all things that are evident and informed. God, we say, God, people say, geometry of dimension, or geometry of dominion. As a man see within himself, the potential of spirit in being is his God. Your reality is your God. Everything you see as the epitome of life is your God. The principle of your being is your God. You see? So God is within itself is within the individual as he see the source of life. Now each individual's expression of God may not be what the reality of the ultimate of life, or the giver or sustainer of life is, but we project towards that. So God within himself is the fulfillment of everything that we know that life in the Father, which is reciprocal, I'm saying Father, which is the epitome of our being, exists, and in, because the world in itself was created and made for his good pleasure. So in order to know the good pleasure and know him, then we know who is God and who is God. Yes.
Sellassie. Yes, Congo. Well, how do we approach God?
Well, the Bible say, with clean hands and a pure heart, and humility and loving kindness. So we know to approach God, the only way we can approach God is through submission. Because we know God as a higher power and a higher being, a greater being. And the only way you can know God is to accept God. You can't accept God within yourself. You see, you have to accept God from his reality, because he said in his light you will see light. So even the word sounds I'm saying, I have to use the words of the Creator to express myself of the Creator. So the God in me identified with the God of being. Yes, sir.
King Sellassie. Where do you find His Majesty in the Scriptures?
Beloved, for the eye, and I usually refer to the passage in the Scriptures, Revelation 5 and 5, where it more or less speak to this junction. And one of the elders said unto the eye, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. So we find that nowhere in the scripture you see where Emmanuel Christ was coronated as the Lion of Judah. So this is a history being actually fulfilled within the book. And if we look at the Chronicles of Ethiopia, Israel, we see that His Majesty fit that dominion in terms of Holy Writ and fulfilling that prophecy. So to look at it anyway, otherwise you would say, well, how could Yeshua or Jesus Christ come back and say, fulfilling that junction of sitting within the chair of David as the root and the offspring and the Lion of the tribe of Judah? So it's a question that we all look at and we accept in that reality. But in truth, I have to say that in all junctions that it's matched to do that prophecy. Aye.
That's Congo. What are your thoughts about the Trinity?
The Trinity. The Trinity is three-dimensional, like 3 in 1. You say Father, Son, and the Spirit of Truth. We have a lot of people within Rastafari, we say head creator, that have a trinity of the Majesty and the Emmanuel and Marley, and people have other ideas of Trinity, or Marcus Garvey, or whatever, you know. But Trinity in itself is a triune, what we say, a triune, just like all things were put into this Majesty's hand, you know, the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, and the animal kingdom. So these three have to come as one, and they can't really come or see the reality of this mandated manifestation in individuals, you know. So when people say triune, it's setting the rainbow circle throne within the order, because the throne of His Majesty is also the throne of His Christ, which is the chair of David. But the physical manifestation is seen within the realism of Judea, or Judah, which His Majesty sat on that chair, you see. So other than that, so far as saying that who's on His right and who's on His left, as the scripture tell I and I, that the Father in itself don't have a body, you see. And the Son itself we relate as the soul, which is the written word. Now the manifestation is the Spirit of truth, and that's the witnesses of the individuals that give their bodies to be burnt sacrifices as living stones to the Father. That is the Spirit of truth, not no ghosts, you know. I and I burned dumpies because the Father said Christ gave up the ghost. So I and I clarify that in terms of the Spirit of truth, or the whole Spirit, the Holy Irie.
What caused you to cite up His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Sellassie I?
From an early time, I and I family and I and I fleshies were involved in the Pan-African running throughout the diaspora from the Gulf South and Louisiana. New Orleans was a slave port. And I used to go out and hear the virgins on the block would always talk about Black King Christ. And from my experience of being reared in a Judo-Christian family, by which I had to go to church regularly, and I used to listen to my fleshy, and he would give us certain rudiments as to the salvation of the Christ. So from the knowledge of the scriptures and being involved in the Pan-African runnings and movements throughout the South, and I was always questioned about why did we get, or how did we come to this situation that we were in, or what were the critiques of I and I being subjected to the elements that we're being subjected to. So with the knowledge of the elders and certain rudiments and certain structures in and around the neighborhood and elders of the Pan-African diaspora, we'd always talk about the scriptures pertaining to Ethiopia stretching forth her hand to the Father. But we know that Martin Delany, Alexander Young, and Frederick Douglass, and different men of elder times always reverted back, even Nat Turner reverted back to I and I people as the Ethiopians stretching forth our hands to the Father. So this was one of the crucial things that more or less gave I and I a foundation to look for the redemption and restoration of I and I people. So with the event of the cry of Rastafari in terms of the coronation of His Majesty, which was forecast a long time ago as the emissaries came to Chicago and New York, then we begin to see the fulfillment of certain biblical things within history that were prophetic.